Annyeonghaseyo, and hello, welcome to Mr. E's Watch Reviews. That was a hello for my South Korean viewers. That's all the South Korean I know. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but fortunately, I happen to have a customer who comes into the shop who is from South Korea, and she taught me that today. So today we're going to go ahead and do the slightly early 2-week review on the Ginault Silent Service with Dayton Cyclops. And I just actually popped this off my wrist, and give you an idea, I had the Ocean River on the other wrist. Basically, I wore both of the watches into the shop today. My boss's son was curious about them and seeing the videos, so I brought them so he could see them in person and really get to appreciate them. And of course, he was like, wow, especially as soon as he turned that bezel, did like this. He was like, oh man, that is buttery smooth. Of course, then he wanted to know how it worked and how they were able to manage that and everything like that. And I gave him the basic rundown of how I understand it to be done, which I believe this is a ball bearing type, which would make the most sense as to why it glides and is so smooth. So 2 weeks of wearing it. This thing is still looking great. Got a few little smudges. I got one little scratch right there. You can see it. I did that with a time grapher, so I got to polish that back out. But this thing has been wearing awesome. It feels really good on the wrist. I'm really enjoying the loomed bezel. That thing is just awesome. Like, hang on a second. Let me turn out the lights real quick. Of course, as you can see, the loom is super bright. You can still see it. It is, even though it's very bright and where we're at right this second. Yeah, it just so pops. In the dark, it is just super bright. The bezel is just absolutely beautiful. Everything on this thing just works great. I don't know exactly how long the loom lasts. All I can tell you is that it'll be lit up like this right before I go to bed, and that's usually around like 10 o'clock. When I wake up at 5 in the morning, it's dim. It's very dim, but I can still see the indices in the hands. So it definitely works. Let's see. Let's throw it on a time grapher. All right, so we're going to put it in the time grapher. And I'm actually going to show you guys how to adjust this thing real fast. Okay. Hang on a second. We'll just let it... All right, see, we got the right beats up here. Then it's going to come up and it's going to say 52 degrees. Because that's the default. So in order to change your lift angle, hit start pause, hit that button again, go to lift angle. And the Salida SW200-1 is 50 degrees. Hit start. Now let's see what we got. See, that's what we're talking about right there. So when you're definitely checking your amplitudes and all that stuff, make sure you got the right lift angle in there. It makes it slightly different for the accuracy. But as you can see, this thing is running well. It's running very good. Let's see, so that's a steady -2 in the flat position. Let's go ahead and turn it up on its side right there, like I normally wear it. And see, now we're at 0. I think it's probably going to, excuse me. I got to stop doing these videos as soon as I get home from work without getting a damn drink. But yeah, like, there you go, 0. 0. Zero and 0 beat error. Man, you just can't beat that. So now it's at -1. So yeah, that's very acceptable. Very awesome. So let's go ahead and pop that back off of there. Let's give y'all some of the dimensions with the micrometer. All right, and let's slide that back out of the frame just a little bit. All right. Turn on the digital micrometer. So they say this is 41. I actually measured it at like 40.5. See? 40.5. All right. So we know the inside of here is 20 mil. Yep, 20.1. And then the wingtip to wingtip. I've got a flat 48. Well, it says 47.9. We might as well say 48. All right. Now, without the cyclops, it is a super slim 11.6. With the cyclops, we're at 12.8. So, cyclops adds a little bit, but it's not that much more. The glide lock works like a champ. Just barely have to use any force whatsoever. It just slides right back and forth. Snaps right back in. So, honestly, I've got nothing but nice things to say about this watch. The only thing that I can tell you that I did pick up on, this one edge right here is just ever so slightly higher than the other three corners. And you'll have something like that with, hand finishing because, it's done by hand. It is what it is. I'm not mad about it. Honestly, I kind of like seeing something like that because that just tells me that they're human. Everything else is so perfect on the damn watch. I really thought that these guys might be robots or aliens or something that were making these because, it's just absolute perfection. Like I said, I really like this bezel. And here's going to be the big one. Which one do you like better? The Ocean Rover or the Silent Service? Now, I would almost say if I wanted to be more dressy, I would go with this one. But this one's flashier. This one blings more. The light plays off of the bezel a lot more than it does on this. To be honest, this looks kind of plain Jane now. Like, this thing really stands out. The sapphire bezel, it all blings. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm never getting rid of this OR2. I absolutely love this thing. But it's a very hard toss-up. Like, when I originally contacted Ginault, I didn't even know about this watch. Didn't even know about the Silent Service. Didn't know it existed. All I wanted was this watch right here. John politely let me know that this watch was discontinued and that if I wanted to get on the waiting list in case somebody backed out, I could. So that's what I did. But he also gave me a ton of information on this. Pictures, dimensions, everything else. And as I was looking at it, at first I was like, I turned my nose up at it. John and them don't even know this because this is all private stuff. But basically, at first I looked at this, I'm like, no, it's not the OR2. I want the OR2. And if I can't have that, I don't want nothing. Then, he also gave me the link to the gentleman that got to do the very, very first review at all. And I really got a real good look at the watch, how it's proportioned on the wrist. And I'm like, man, that thing is kind of sharp. And the more I looked at it, the more I was like, man, those indices. Because at first, I really didn't like this giant 12 o'clock indice. I wanted this, So I didn't like that at first. Now that I have it, man, that thing is so much easier. Like, this one is so much easier to read. If I were to go diving, this is the one I would take because, loomed bezel. It's not that I don't think that this one would be an excellent diving watch. It's just, in comparison to this one ain't got shit on it. Because the nice, big, meaty, beefy crown with the really good square cut in it, it's real easy to grip. The bezel, again, very easy to grip. I'm using very little finger pressure here to hold that thing and to make it turn. There's just the right amount of resistance on this. Like, basically, this bezel and this bezel act the exact same. As far as the way they feel when they rotate, they feel the same. This one here, though, with the coin edge, I could see, yes, I'm able to get a very good grip, and it turns nice and smooth and buttery. but I could definitely see where this, if your hands were wet, it would be harder to grip it. Now if you had on rubber gloves or whatever, it might not be so bad. But when you got, oil and stuff on your hands like I do all the time, you know, this is definitely going to be the better one to have. You know, I'm really hoping that that John and them follow through. Like I brought an idea to John, and apparently John had already had the said idea, uh, and had been discussing it with Charles. So we'll see. I'll definitely let y'all know if and when or ever that I'm allowed to tell y'all what the idea was. But essentially, it would be this watch in just a slightly different version. But man, this thing is just so perfect. I can't even tell y'all, like, the way it fits on the wrist, the way it sits. See, y'all can just see it just sits flat. It just sits perfectly flat. And a lot of that has to do with this case back. That case back is just, it's damn near flush. It's so, like, it thins out the watch and it makes it fit to your wrist so much better. Like, especially like my Invictus, they got like the little hump back there, and in one way that does help on a hot day, but since I put a glide lock on it, well, it's not as big of a deal. But back to this one, and daggone it, I keep trying to line the bezels up, and I do it looking through the camera, and I keep missing the spot. There we go. All right, sorry, that kind of thing bugs me, but I'm telling y'all right now, contact Ginault.com and get on for the pre-order for this thing. This is a must-have. Like, if you're a watch guy and you love watches, this is the watch to have. It really is. I'm not paid by these guys. They don't do me no favors. I paid what the full retail is right now for this watch and for this one. I don't know. I can't even stress it enough. This watch is, in my opinion, way better than a Rolex. It's a very unique design. I understand it takes, some people be like, oh, well, that kind of looks like a Sea Dweller bezel, or another brand bezel, or this or that. And well, you know what? None of them have this kind of a cut. And you know what? There's only but so many ways you can do a damn bezel. I don't know what y'all want. You know what I mean? The face is completely different. The indices are definitely different. It doesn't have no crown guard, so that's definitely different. I understand more vintage stuff doesn't have that, but we ain't talking vintage. This is brand new. So, what would my recommendations be? My recommendation would be stop watching this video, go to Ginault.com right now, and put this pre-order in. And when you do, tell John that Ed sent you. Okay? It's not going to get you no discount or nothing like that, but John will at least know you're good people and that you're watching my videos. It'll help me out. I definitely appreciate it. Also, I really need y'all to like and subscribe. More subscribe than anything, but really like the videos. If you don't like what I'm doing, tell me so. And tell me what it is you don't like. But, as far as Ginault goes, anybody worried about the shady past or any of that other stuff? Honestly, I don't get that kind of vibe from these guys. They all seem very straight up, honest, forthright, and honest to almost a brutal point. You know what I mean? Because everything it is what it is. Now did I ever come right out and fucking like, hey, are you this guy? No, because that'd be rude. And you know what? There's not really no solid evidence to back up that he ever did any of that or anything. It's a bunch of hearsay and nonsense. And all I can say is that nothing has ever been brought up in a court of law or any other kind of shit like that. So without that, yeah, I don't want to hear no more about it. Perfectly honest. And that's going to be the last time we even reference it on my channel. So, you want a superb watch that is built to the highest of specs with the finest of materials, then this is pretty much it. You know, like I said, the only thing that they are kind of lacking on would be the 904 steel. And even then, take care of your shit and you just don't need the 904. It's very simple. You know, but this is a super elegant watch. I would wear this thing with any of my suits, just going out to the club, just going out to dinner. Hell, like I said, I wore both of these to the shop today. I had one on each arm. That was actually pretty awesome. I don't know why I don't do that more often. But, you know, like I said, this one is just eking out the win just a little bit. And believe me, I feel like a traitor to the OR2. I really do. Because I love this watch so much. I just never thought anything could top it or be better than it. But, you know, this one is, it's better. I'm sorry, it is. You know, I actually wore this on my left wrist today. And I thought that this crown was going to get me pretty good. It didn't get me at all. So I would say go to Ginault, get this one. If you can, or you don't already have this one, see if they'll let you order both. But definitely get this one. This one here is a must-have if you don't already have one. If they won't sell you one, try and find one on the secondhand market. But kind of good luck with that. Because that's why I wound up contacting Ginault, because I knew it was discontinued. I seen it on the website it had been discontinued. But I had gone on the secondhand sites and could not for the life of me, like, as soon as it would go, one of these would go up for sale on the secondhand site, gone. Before I could even message the person. So I would say get this, because like I said, I actually put the order in for this before I was able to put the order in for this, because I figured if I can't get this is at least going to be built on the same level of quality that the OR2 was. And to be perfectly honest, I'm glad the OR2 showed up before this one, because if this one showed up first, I might not have wanted it. Yeah, I'm lying. I would have wanted it anyways. But, yeah, it would have been a tough call. It would have been like, oh, man, do I really need that other one? But I'm telling you right now, these watches are superior to everything else I've done messed with. Like, the only thing that even kind of gets close in holding a candle would be an actual Rolex. You know, I understand the Omegas have got them super reliable, super accurate timekeeping mechanisms in them. However, I don't like the way the watches look. I don't like the bracelet. I don't like the bezel. I don't like the way the bezel feels. Same thing with the tag heuer, or whatever, however they pronounce it. I don't like the way the tags feel. It is what it is. You know, like on the tag, the thing is like friggin' that thick. At least on the Batman GMT I was looking at. But, it was like super thick case. Bezel went both ways. It didn't feel, buttery smooth. It felt like it had a spring in there ratcheting it. Which, I'm just not into that. Like I said, that's the way all my cheap watches are. Like, to be honest, the tag and that Omega, the bezels felt more like my Invicta, which is pretty crappy. Not pretty crappy. It's actually a nice bezel, but you get what I'm saying. It's just, not what I was expecting for a 5 and 3. I think it was $3,500 and a $6,000 watch, or it might have been $4,500 or something. I don't know. I don't remember the prices. It just, I had no intention of buying them. They told me what the prices were, and I was like, oh hell no, that's way too friggin' much. So for the money, this is the way to go. I'm going to order me up a Steinhardt. I'm going to order up a Chronos, so I can do the reviews on them on the channel. These, again, they seem like very nice watches, and I mean, they got an excellent price point. But do they compare to this? No. I think they go too homage, and they try and copy the real deal too much. Like, this has got all the real deal features, but it's done in such a way that it is still unique. Because again, Rolex doesn't offer this case with a ceramic bezel and that navy blue with that inky black dial. Most of the ones in the 5-digit range have the mini indices, not the maxis. Some do have the maxis, but none of them had the glide lock. So, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It just, there is no Rolex that you can go out and buy that has all the features that this one has, in the 40 mil. Now, you can get all that in the 40 and a half or whatever, what they call the 41, but then it's also got the chunky lug design. So, you're going to make a compromise on one end or the other. With this, you don't have to compromise. So, with all that being said, Ginault Silent Service, Phase 1 pre-order, no date, $10.99. Date, no Cyclops, $11.99. Date with Cyclops, $12.99. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be ending Phase 1, but I would imagine it'll probably be within the next couple of months. So I would suggest get on there as soon as you possibly can make up your mind and order this thing at Phase 1 and save you some money, because once it goes up to full retail, this will be $1,800. And even then, that's still a deal, but yeah, I like saving $500. Not only that, but I like being the first one on the block, maybe the first one in the world to have on the date the Cyclops. Because I'm not sure with the serial number, but mine says FI019. So I would dare guess this is only the 19th Silent Service produced, and I don't know, it may be the very first one with the Cyclops and date, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess I could always ask John and just find out, but I like assuming these things because I want to feel special. So, all right, you guys seen enough of this? All right, peace out, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and tell me about any other watches y'all might want to see. I'll see about picking them up or ordering them. All right, thank you. Have a good day.